sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Friday. It's the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Rico with you. What's up, Rico?
Hello.
How's it going?
It goes.
Happy Friday, Rico.
Let me fix the camera. Stop talking to me.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody there. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961, all places for you guys to get in touch with the show. But you can also follow us on our own personal Twitters, Nick_Sainert at Radio Rico AC. If you have any thoughts for today's program, we got a lot of stuff to get to. I want to get Rico's thoughts on a certain SEC school. I will not be in on Monday because I will be traveling en route to Big Ten Media Days.
You kidding me? You just now telling me?
I'm just now telling you, Rico.
Goodness gracious.
I'm sorry that I didn't tell you sooner.
Why didn't you tell me you were going to be on your way to Big Ten Media Days on Monday and you wouldn't be at the show?
By the way, I need you to help out with the drive in the morning.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to need you to do this.
Eric,
Next
thing you'll be telling me is that I'll have to be sitting here running the board for 3 days.
Well, you won't, because Austin will step up.
Austin has always stepped
Yeah,
up.
Austin always steps up. I look at him. He's like, maybe not. He's like, maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. Oh, he's trying to get you to bribe him.
Oh, bribery.
Anyway,
I'm not above bribery.
402-464-5685. Eric says, Nick's on the radio again. When's this experiment going to be over? This experiment's been happening for 4 years now.
4 whole years.
4 years. Here I am, still
Look at
alive and
look at you,
screaming and kicking and clawing. 402-464-5685. Thanks to Eric and everybody for always listening, always chiming in on the text line. I want to get Rico's thoughts on some national stories. We're going to talk about the Florida Gators a little bit today because I'm not sure if, well, Ben Sass is resigning. But then
I saw that.
Ultimately, Florida football, right? Because Billy Napier is in this very interesting spot. They also signed a 5-star quarterback in the offseason, did the Florida Gators, and we'll see how they do this year.
You mean the best quarterback in the country?
DJ Lagway. But however, Florida's got a gauntlet of a schedule. So I want to get Rico's thoughts on Billy Napier because he has not had the greatest start to his tenure in Gainesville. They also had the Cormani McLean stuff going on. I also want to get to, at some point, we talked extensively about the offensive side of the ball yesterday, talking Nebraska defense at some point in the show. And then Lane Kiffin and
Death Row,
I suppose. Lane Kiffin and Paul Feinbaum yesterday.
So apparently that happened on Monday.
And
I didn't see it until yesterday.
Yeah, so we'll dive into that. SEC Media Days concluded earlier this week, I think just yesterday. So and they officially have picked. All right, what's the team picked to win the SEC? And so those are in. So we'll talk about those.
Why does the
throughout
SEC
the course
get
of
an
the show.
entire week of media days? Somebody else gets an entire week. The SEC
4
thinks they're
days
special.
They got 4 days.
It seems like they had 5 because we're going to talk about it today.
Just like next week, we will talk about the Big Ten Media Days on Friday.
Yeah, well, we have to. The national media doesn't care.
Oh, no, SEC. It just means more.
Yeah, it does.
It just means more.
SEC, ESPN.
7563 says the results of the Nick radio experiment are mixed and inconclusive. Here I am. What would you say, Rico?
I would say
what's the Nick radio experiment?
The Nick radio
results.
Experiment.
What are the results?
They have found that one Nick Sainert.
How are you going to spin this?
They have shut up. They have found that one Nick Sainert is competent in a radio hosting duties, above average in terms of board running.
Okay.
And below average in terms of spot reading.
Okay. Bad at commercials.
Average at hosting.
Think?
Hold on. Average at running the board. Above average at hosting.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
I'd rather have it that way.
Not excellent at anything. Not terrible at anything.
Just kind of mid.
Just a mixed bag of.
Where do you think? I think self-reflection is important, Rico.
Yeah, the NRE is
I think
radio experience.
I think self-reflection is important, Rico. So
yes.
I would ask you, where do you think the Rico radio experience is?
RRE?
The RRE.
RRE, above average board, below average hosting.
Okay.
Excellent spot reading.
Rico thinks he's so good at commercials.
I'm very good at commercials.
You use a fake voice.
That's necessary. It's a commercial voice.
Anyway.
I'm going to be a voice actor one day, folks. I don't know how to get started. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I'm going to keep telling myself one day.
You got to make those TikTok videos of you doing voiceovers of the various Disney characters.
Yeah,
I saw one.
Scripts.
I saw one yesterday where somebody was. I saw a TikTok video yesterday. Actually, it was on a different social media platform that a voiceover actor was singing a song in different Disney voices.
I can't sing, so that's
you could voice it.
Out of the question.
I don't know. We should try this.
I could voice things. Give me a script.
Now that Bella's here full time, we should work on a TikTok page, like on an actual. We have a TikTok page,
like content,
but like content.
Fill the TikTok page with content.
Yeah, because I have a feeling like people want to know what we do.
Yeah, Glow.
People want to know. That's the issue is trying to find the songs that are applicable to us.
They don't need to be appropriate. They'll be fine.
Anyway, 402-464-5685.
She's listening now. We need TikToks.
We need
a little behind.
We need
hear it in a second.
We need like content. We have the videos of the shows on TikToks, but we need like Rico dancing and Austin dancing. I'll just stand there.
We need more Austin dancing.
We do just need more Austin in general.
We do.
We really just need Austin. Eric says, really, Nick, do you think that much of yourself? No, it's not me. It's the ticket conglomerate. It's the entire group.
I could be a TikTok star.
I don't know. I started to set up the Twitch stuff. Every time I go home, I'm like
lazy.
Every time I get home, I think, oh, I should probably stream today. And I never just click the button to stream.
That's the hard part. Once you get over that and you start being consistent with it, and it's really fun, and you get into it, and then you have a kid, and then it just throws everything off.
Yeah, or in your case, 2 kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nope. Scaper? Nope.
We're not. I think.
I mean, no.
That's why I'm not in the videos. Yeah, you said go viral like Kim Kardashian. Nah. I'm gonna pass.
Nah.
Did play NCAA football 25 last night. Shocker. Tonight's the first night since Monday that I'm not gonna be able to play.
What a tragedy.
Unless I choose to stay up, but I probably won't.
You're gonna stay up.
Road to Glory. Hot take. The 60 when you start out 60 overall.
Not doing that.
Stupid.
Not doing that.
Stupid.
Do it. Be a 5-star. Be a 5-star or a 4-star. Yeah. If you do the underdog, you're never gonna play. I saw somebody.
I'm
who
in
was
year 3 of Mississippi State, and I'm halfback 2. I'm RB2.
Yeah, I'm in year 1 at Nebraska, and I'm RB1.
I need to be a quarterback. I need that.
1,600 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Bill and Bennett says Rico is way better at commercials than Nick. He threw in the way better.
Wow. Thanks,
way
Bill.
better at commercials than Nick. But I got to like Nick more because he's a Cubs fan.
You don't have to, Bill, because my wife's a Cubs fan. So I'm a pseudo
You are a Cubs fan by association.
By association. Yeah.
Hey, Qdoba guy's back. What's up, Qdoba guy? Good to hear from you again.
I haven't had Qdoba in a while.
He says, long time no talk. What's up, fellas? Appreciate you.
Miss you, Qdoba guy.
It must be the fall because Qdoba guy's back.
Yes, who's back? Back again.
Qdoba guy comes back.
Back.
Let's talk college football.
Yes.
Nebraska defense. We talked their offensive side of the ball. Talked a little Dylan Raiola yesterday. Talked about the running back room as well. And so today we kind of, and it worked out well because Terrence Knight was on the radio last night, that Nebraska's defense confidence level, right? If you were to give a grade on Nebraska's in your confidence, letter grade, A, B, C, or D, where do you fall in Nebraska's defense this season? And we'll kind of just, I'll give the gloss over here really quickly, just for folks to give their initial thoughts. On the defensive line, it's Ty Robinson, it's Nash Hutmaker, Cameron Lenhart, Princewell Uman Mielen, and Jamari Butler, who, by the way, Terrence Knight had some good things to say about him last night.
Yes.
Linebacker room, you have the Syracuse transfer Stephon Thompson. You have a couple of other guys like John Bullock in that room as well, Mekhi Gabayer, and I know I'm missing a couple of more there. Javen Wright.
You got some redshirt freshmen who might make a step up.
Defensive back room, there's a lot of them. It's Deshaun Singleton, Malcolm Hartzog, Tommy Hill, Isaac Gifford, Marquise Buford. There's names right there. So just off of that, 402-464-5685. Where are we at letter grade wise? A minus, C plus. What are we thinking? And I think initially, as we continue this or dive into this, I think initially I sit here and I go, okay, yeah, you know what? Nebraska's, I feel like pretty confident in Nebraska's ability to stop a Big Ten offense.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska's schedule in the early going isn't necessarily filled with high-powered offenses. We don't know what to expect from Colorado. You forget that Colorado just a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago now, lost their starting running back and one of their best wide receivers on that offensive side of the ball in Dylan Edwards. He transferred to Kansas State, back where he was from or near where he was from.
Mm-hmm.
So Colorado on offense, you lose a skill position guy there, but you don't know what about that offensive line. And
biggest question mark for Colorado.
But continuing through the schedule for Nebraska, it's the UTEP, it's Northern Iowa, Colorado, and then you dive into conference play. And while Nebraska's defense was able to pretty handle the offenses that they faced last year for the most part, then you're sitting there going, yeah, you feel like Nebraska could do something. Nebraska's offense this year is going to be expected to be improved. But does that mean that their defense will still get some of the attention that they did last year? Because Nebraska does graduate a couple of guys on defense. Reimer's gone. Nick Henrich is gone. A couple of guys in the secondary moved on. You have a new secondary coach. Tony White stuck around. But when it was all said and done, Nebraska still struggled to generate pressure. And so this upcoming season against offensive lines in the Big Ten Conference, it is going to be instrumental and critical that Nebraska generates pressure. You have two of the most experienced defensive linemen on the interior in the entire conference. One of the most talented front fours in probably the entire country. It's just, what part of the game are they going to be great at? Is it more of a Damian Daniels type of feel interior-wise, where just take up a lot of space and make it extremely difficult for a running back to find room? And then also when we're talking about pressure on the quarterback, that's from the second level from those linebackers. Or is it going to be the interior pressure to the likes of Ndamukong Suh? Not to the extent, not to the extent, but is Nebraska going to be able to generate pressure? Because it's that whole adage of, you don't have to sack the guy, but the Big Ten Conference, for a conference last season that didn't have a lot of great quarterbacks, Talia Tagovailoa was, I think, the most experienced guy. JJ McCarthy was drafted high. Tanner Mordecai didn't play well. Obviously, Jeff Sims didn't play well. Drew Aller kind of had a step back from his 5-star freshman season. Ohio State and Kyle McCord was fine, serviceable. In a season last year where there weren't a lot of really good quarterbacks, Nebraska still struggled to apply pressure on those quarterbacks. Now with another year under their belt the quarterbacks in the Big Ten Conference have improved quite a bit. Now, Nebraska's not going to see them, but this is going to be the type of quarterbacks that Nebraska will see going forward. Dylan Gabriel, one of the best in the country. Obviously, you bring in Miller Moss from USC, and you bring in Tyler Van Dyke at Wisconsin.
Will Rogers.
Cade McNamara is back. Will Rogers at Washington. There's going to be, when we talk about top-tier transfers that transfer out of Big 12 programs, ACC programs,
Will Howard,
even Group of 5 schools, some of the best in the country. Where do you think their 2 moves or ideal moves and landing spots are going to be? Somewhere in the Big 10 or somewhere in the SEC. So Nebraska, with the help, it's beneficial certainly that they have 2 very experienced guys in the middle. But those 2 other guys on the outside, whoever they are, whether it's Jamari Butler, whether it's James Williams, whether it's Cameron Lenhart, Prince Will, this is a very important year to start and building a foundation for the next couple of years to come. Because there has not been a dominant pass rusher. There were certainly some really good front sevens for Nebraska's defense. You think back to the years of a couple of the good linebackers, and then we mentioned Damian Daniels, Damian Darian, those 2 guys just kind of clogging up space in the middle,
allowing your linebackers to run free and make plays on running backs and quarterbacks.
But with that, Nebraska needs to generate a little bit of pressure and at least force the quarterback to somewhat be in trouble.
Force him off his base. Because it's as simple as that, is just make him uncomfortable. You don't have to bring him down every time. You don't have to hit him every time, but get in his face and make sure that he knows that you're there. Make sure he knows that defensive line is not going to let up. It's imperative that Nebraska does not allow quarterbacks to have all day back there to read and pick apart their defense. If you go level by level with Nebraska's defense, it's an extreme level of confidence with the defensive line. A large question mark at the linebacker spot because of the 2 very experienced middle linebackers that you lose. Yes, you have Stephon Thompson, who played under Tony White at Syracuse, so he understands the defense, but he's new coming in here. He was, what'd they say, overweight or somewhere along those lines going into fall camp. So that was a concern there. We don't know how he's doing right now, but I'm sure that he's corrected himself and is doing what needs to be done now in the linebacker room. But after him and maybe a Javen Wright, who are probably your 2 most experienced linebackers in terms of Stephon Thompson playing in college and Javen Wright just being on this team at Nebraska for as long as he has, those are probably 2 of your more experienced guys there. And then in the secondary, getting the production and the work from Marquise Buford and Deshaun Singleton back in those safety spots is going to be crucial for Nebraska. If they can both return to the form that they were playing at, that will allow Nebraska's defensive line to hopefully get more pressure on the quarterback, because it's not just the defensive line getting to the quarterback before they can find an open guy. It's also on the defensive backs offering enough coverage for the defensive line to have time to get to the quarterbacks. Again, going back to the Big Ten offensive lines, like you were kind of talking about, the Big Ten has many great offensive linemen spread throughout all of the teams. So Nebraska having an experienced defensive line with Nash and Ty, and an experienced secondary with Tommy and Deshaun and Marquise will go a very long way in hopefully improving the confidence for fans in this defense that showed out last year.
Nebraska's defense, we talked about it often, the whole bend don't break type of feel that they provided Husker fans with. Third down conversions, they allowed 36.6% third down conversion rate. Nebraska's offense, just to kind of put this into perspective, 37.9% of the time they were converting on third down. Nebraska, though, this is where the difference was. And this shows the lack of opportunities on offense that were presented, or lack of ability, the inability to stay on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska's offense, that is. Nebraska's offense faced 153 third downs last year. Nebraska's defense, 180. So 27 more third downs faced for Nebraska's defense than their offense. I bring this up. Nebraska's passing defense, right? And this is in a season where Nebraska did graduate at in the defensive back room, that is. Graduated, obviously, guys like Phelan Sanford. Graduated, let's see, Quentin Newsome, Omar Brown. 3 pretty notable names. Sanford was mostly a special teams guy, but still played a little bit on the defensive side of the ball.
Played a lot more towards the end of the season. But
Q was a big name, and Omar Brown was a big deal for this Nebraska defense last year. And in that season, Nebraska, 9th in the conference, in just the Big Ten Conference, in passing yards allowed per game. They're wedged in between Wisconsin and Minnesota. But this is, once again, where we go back to what side of what part of Nebraska's defense needs to step up and not trying just to have a blanket answer of, well, everybody needs to get better.
Everybody needs to get. It's the area on Nebraska's defense that is going to have to step up and is going to have to do it pretty quickly. Is definitely that linebacker room.
I think so. I think also the secondary has the most to prove.
I think so. The secondary is not like a bad question mark for me, but it is a question mark because you have Tommy Hill on one side. You have Deshaun Singleton coming back, doing what he's going to be doing in that safety spot. Buford at the other safety spot. Who's going to be that corner? I was talking with Austin earlier off the air, and I thought, after his sophomore slump, could Malcolm Hartzog move back to a corner role as opposed to, back at safety where they had moved him after his freshman year, where he did such a good job at corner? Could he be that second corner where you have Tommy Hill on one side, Hartzog on the other? Yes, he's a shorter corner, but with the safeties that you have back there, with an Isaac Gifford also in that defensive secondary with you, it could offer a little bit of a reprieve if they're trying to put a bigger wide receiver or put a tight end onto a Malcolm Hartzog. You have an Isaac Gifford, you have a Deshaun Singleton, you have those guys back there who would be able to switch with him, and his position flexibility, where he's played both corner and safety, will allow him to move into a different spot where you can not hide him. That's not the word that I want to use, but utilize a bigger guy for a mismatch that an offense is trying to get with Malcolm Hartzog on the field. But that linebacker position, those linebackers, a lot of times on those third downs, and I know that you and Jay have talked about it on post games, it's a lot of the same route from a tight end or a wide receiver, just going right there in the middle of the field, and the quarterback taking a quick drop and finding them because the linebackers are either out of position or just make a bad read. So if those linebackers are able to step up, that's going to go a long way as well.
I'm gonna say something with the danger of it coming across rude. And this is unintentional.
It happens.
But what is the expectation for a guy like Tommy Hill next year? Or this season, excuse me.
I don't know because he had such a good season last year. Do you expect him to have a better season? If he has the same season, are you disappointed? If he has a quote unquote worse season.
Hold on. If you had to guess off of the way that we feel about Tommy Hill, how many tackles did he have last year? And I understand in the secondary, it's not all about tackles. Yeah. It's about pass breakups.
I think he had the ability. I looked this up because I compared him to another corner. He had 28 or something like that.
26 tackles. And not to try to get too deep into the numbers. 1,583rd on the list of national tacklers.
He wasn't tackling much.
I understand that. I'm not.
But that's where
I said I want to be given the opportunity to explain this.
Yes.
Before we jump to the conclusion of, wow, Nick's saying that Tommy Hill sucks. That's not what we're getting at here. What I'm saying is that we're viewing, and rightfully so, I think, Tommy Hill as the number one corner on this team.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for tackles, maybe for Tommy Hill. Started 7 games on the defensive side of the ball last year, I believe is what I read. Yeah, 7 starts on defense. Played in all 12. 7 starts defensively. Set a career high, and this comes from Huskers.com. 26 tackles, 9 pass breakups, and 4 INTs. Those are much more than serviceable numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very aware of that. But yeah, very big part of Nebraska's defense.
Let me put it,
but in the grand scheme of it all, in the major picture, what does that expectation look like this year? Is it can we quantify that?
Mm-hmm.
Can we say, all right, let's expect another 4 picks, or let's expect double-digit pass breakups. Let's expect 35 tackles. Because if that's the case, then we're looking at a top 3-round draft pick potentially in the form of Tommy Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But think also about the narrative and how it's fluctuated so much on Tommy Hill. And that's not a bad thing that we're sitting here saying, yeah, he's defensive back number 1. But what I'm getting at is think about the narratives and how much the view on Tommy Hill is just the player, not the person. Just the player has fluctuated. It was almost this case of like, yeah, Tommy Hill, people kind of wrote him off once he switched to defense. It was good enough for offense. And then it was Tommy Hill's one of the best defensive backs on this roster. And now it's, man, oh no, well, we know we have one side locked down with Tommy Hill. What about the other side? So it's just kind of like, I think it's important sometimes to try to just take a step back and be like, okay, what is the realistic expectation for a secondary that involves Tommy Hill and Deshaun Singleton and Marquise Buford, who's coming off of an injury, in a year where you don't have Quentin Newsome, who was your true number 1 corner, and you knew it going in. You don't have Omar Brown, who had NFL opportunities, and you lose a guy that was just out there willing to kind of just go after whatever he needed to do in Phelan Sanford.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of curiosity around it.
Now, to push back a little bit on that is he didn't have the tackle numbers, no, but on a team that was as dominant against the run as they were, teams weren't obviously running as much as they could have or should have against Nebraska's defense, right? And then in the passing game, since they're passing a lot more, they're not passing to Tommy's side because of his ability to, I'm not going to, say exactly lock down a third of the field, but his ability to knock the balls away, get in the way, intercept the ball. He had 4 interceptions in Big Ten play. His ability to kind of shut down his side of the field kept teams from throwing that way. So they're throwing to the other side of the field. I mean, it's tough for him with the way that they swarm the ball. It's tough for him to get over there and make a tackle. He made tackles when he could. So that's kind of what I push back against that in the tackle department for that. But in terms of him, what kind of season we're expecting him to have, I think that's a dangerous road to go down because he had, such a good season. I'm not a great or an amazing season. He had such a good season last year at corner for Nebraska that for him to take a step up would be 4 interceptions. And what was it? 7 pass deflections, somewhere along those lines. 4 interceptions, 7 pass deflections. To have better numbers than that while also potentially improving his tackle numbers, that's almost, I got to be careful how I say this. That's all Big Ten play. And he wasn't, was he honorable mention or maybe he was 3rd team for all Big Ten. So to expect a step up like that from one guy would be great, but it's a dangerous road to go down because if you do just expect that to happen because he had a good season last year, if he has a similar season, some people might look at it as, oh, well, he didn't improve. So that's not going to, people are going to look down on it.
So, and Big Bird, it says this on the text line: how many snaps, how many opportunities? Can't just look at the total numbers. Prince's numbers weren't outstanding either. He turned out pretty good. Yeah, I understand that. And that's why I wanted to preface this conversation and that comment with the way I did. Also, I think Prince had 60 plus tackles his last 2 seasons. I
thought about that same thing, Big Bird. So I looked it up. 2009, Prince had 64 total tackles. 2010, he had 59.
But that's like, I'm not trying to compare and be like, oh, look at Tommy Hill, he's not very good. Yeah, it doesn't matter who it was. I think also, I mean, looking at the facts, I don't know how much folks like to read into Pro Football Focus. I think that's one of those things where you like to read into it when it's a positive statistic. And here's one for you. He was Nebraska's highest rated defensive back last year, according to Pro Football Focus. So yeah, right. He's pretty, I would say, indispensable for Nebraska, certainly, because rather than having 2 question marks at the cornerback position, now you only have 1 because of Tommy Hill. So I am I acknowledge that, and I throw my right hand up and I say I completely understand. This is just a forum for open discussion. So Nebraska and Tom, Matt Rule is a fan of Tommy Hill going forward as well. He said so very often. Bill and Bennett asked, what are the odds of Tommy having to play both ways this year? If we start losing depth at receiver, I think it's time that we stop trying to play this experiment with Tommy Hill.
0. He's not playing both ways. He's your number one corner. He's going to stay on the defense side of the ball. You have enough wide receivers that you have so many wide receivers, you move 2 of them to corner.
It's that conversation that we had
defensive back.
It's that conversation that we had yesterday with defensive back where it's like, all right, somebody's got to do it. That's how I also feel about the wide receiver room, I think, in general. And I think it's okay to feel that way. Is that when you look at Nebraska football, that if I got to pull up the roster really quickly here, just so I don't mess up and say something inaccurate. But when you look at Nebraska football here and you say, okay, what are some of the wide receiver names that maybe you're just waiting on clicking? I think we can clump tight end into this conversation. Like I think Thomas Fidone, take a step forward, fully healthy. Let's take a step forward, right? Like guys like Nate Borkacher as well. Maybe Luke Lindenmeyer can carve out a more exclusive role for him. But you return notable guys like Malachi and Jalen Lloyd, obviously. Jaden Doss, obviously defensive back, moved there. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda's coming off of an injury. Don't know what to expect from him. Isaiah Nayor transfers in. I think Jamal Banks is going to be very good for Nebraska football. Jamal Banks, man, intriguing. I'm excited to go. If I had to pick one guy on Nebraska's entire roster that I'm excited for when I go down to the Hawks to watch spring or fall practice in here in a couple of weeks, it's Jamal Banks. Like this guy's 6'4", 205 guy, a little bit of a bigger body. Hopefully Nebraska, we know that they've struggled maybe to get some bigger bodies in that wide receiver room. Like I think back to like Omar Manning, who was 6'5" and just never really panned out.
Yeah.
And it's like Jamal Banks gives you that maybe a little bit bigger of a body, but then also Isaiah Nayor at 6'3", 215 is a bigger body as well. It's not so much of a 6 foot, 190 Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. I think they have a lot of guys that can do different things for them. Jalen Lloyd at 5'10", 160. Like you have different types of bodies so that you're not asking a Billy Kemp sized guy to go
to be your number one,
run in between tackle, or asking Billy Kemp to go up and high point a ball.
Yeah.
You're not asking a Jalen Lloyd to try to be a possession receiver. Like you have guys that are able to do it. And like, it almost gives me an idea of this could be a blend of what maybe we saw with like guys like Samari Toure, Trey Palmer, but then also what maybe you expected an Omar Manning to be.
With the amount of wide receivers and the differences in styles, you'll be able to play a lot more to their strengths. And that's going to go a long way for them, with having a true, and this is no slight to any other receiver that's been in that room, but a true number one receiver with Jamal Banks in terms of the size and potentially the speed and everything that he can do. You'll have possession receivers, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, other guys like that, and you have guys who can take the top off of a defense in a Isaiah Nayor and a Jalen Lloyd. And the trio of Banks, Fidone, and Lloyd is very intriguing to me.
I mean, Jamal Banks, 59 catches last year in every single game. Last year for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, 4 touchdowns, which was the team lead, 5th in the ACC in receptions per game. Banks had 108 receiving yards on 6 catches in season opener. I mean, he earned all honorable mention, all ACC in 2022, played in all 13 games in 2022. I mean, this is a guy that over the last couple of years was able to stay healthy, was able to help out his quarterback. And bingo, that's the thing I want to end on, is that don't forget, Nebraska's freshman quarterback has some reliable guys on the perimeter to throw to, which other true freshmen, when they've come in, hasn't always been the case. Hasn't always been this plethora of talent around him. That's where I want to give Matt Rule and his staff some pretty good credit, is that they've been able to not only bring in a quarterback in Dylan Raiola that everybody is just excited about, and rightfully so, but they found a good blend of high school guys to build depth, whether we're talking about offensive line with guys like Grant Bricks and Sam Sledge and just go down the list with offensive line guys. But it's also been in the wide receiver room and through freshmen there like Ja'Cory Barney Jr. out of Miami, but then also went through the transfer portal and got some experienced guys like Banks and Nayor. Even Billy Kemp last year, despite the injuries and despite maybe being just a little too short, Billy Kemp was, if he could have stayed healthy, I think was going to be a pretty big part of Nebraska's offense.
I think Billy Kemp came a year too early.
I think we do forget at times. I'm as victim as I'm at fault of this as anybody. We forgot how many injuries Nebraska's offense suffered last year.
Yeah,
it felt like every single week somebody was tearing an ACL or getting injured and being done for the year. And so
that depth chart was constantly changing.
It was dwindling
week to week.
So, going forward here this year with that defense, it takes hopefully a little bit of the pressure off to be as good as they were last year. Doesn't mean that it's okay to take a step back, but hopefully that there's less pressure to say, hey, sorry, we're going to give you the ball and you only got 20 yards until they score a touchdown. Maybe Nebraska can back that up a little bit more and give their defense a little bit more of a breather. And then with that, Nebraska's offense more successful on their side of the field as well. A lot of stuff to get to. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you. 464-5685. Corey sends in, can't say any receiver would contribute last year. No quarterback to get them the ball. And that's a very valuable point. And so
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe that makes you feel better about the seasons that Jalen Lloyd and Malachi did have.
Maybe. If Billy Kemp was on this roster, like if he was able to have another year, that would be, you mean to tell me you have a 6'4" Jamal Banks, you have how tall is Isaiah?
Isaiah Nayor 6'3".
6'3", you 6'4", 6'3", and then you have a guy who's going to go underneath and get you all those rack yards with Billy Kemp. That's like a perfect three.
Billy Kemp 5'9", 180 is what he was listed at on the Huskers roster.
He is a throwing quarterback's best friend.
Just for context here, Nebraska's wide receiver room, and this goes back to Bill and Bennett's comment about what are the odds of Tommy Hill or anybody. I think that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska's wide receivers, in no particular order: Demetrius Bell, Alex Bullock, Jalen Lloyd, Malachi Coleman, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, Janarian Bonner, who's going to be playing a little bit of both. Ja'Cory Barney Jr., Quinn Clark, Davon Hall, Isaiah McMorris, Keelan Smith, who might be a little bit of a blend guy, Isaiah Nayor, and Jamal Banks. A lot of bodies. Tight ends.
You're good.
Tight ends. You have Luke Lindemeyer, Ishmael Smith-Flores, Nate Borkacher, Caden Echternock, who's from Bellevue West, Thomas Fedoni, who's in his junior year, Ian Flint, who's the freshman from Katy, Texas, Eric Ingwerson, who is the one-time Pittsburgh commit out of Papio La Vista, Carter Nelson, obviously, and then also Danny King. So there's bodies, there's names, there's guys that hopefully can benefit on top of that running back conversation that we had yesterday. Hopefully benefit Dylan Raiola a little
pass catchers galore.
We'll see what happens.
You don't have to worry about moving anybody anywhere.
Next week, Big Ten Media Days. How about that? Only a couple of days away. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be there in Indy. Huskers speak on Wednesday.
Ask Ben Scott how many pancakes he's going to get.
All right. Any NIL deals with some breakfast spots?
Maybe.
We'll see about that. 402-464-5685. You can always chime in there. Appreciate you guys. Scaper said this about Tommy Hill. He is the highest rated player right now on NCAA 25. He must be good. That's true. Kidoba guy said if there was something between a C+ and a B-, that's where I'd stand on the defense. Scaper feels like it's an A- on the defensive side of the ball as well. So appreciate those guys. Corey, Eric, Bill and Bennett, Big Bird, Scaper, Kidoba guy, Thomas and Lincoln, 7563, Travis, all those guys for chiming in on the text line. You can always let us know what your thoughts are throughout the rest of the show. You can always follow us as well on Twitter, Nick_Sainert at Radio Rico AC. Let's talk a little bit about Billy Napier in Florida, and then we'll also tell you who's predicted to win the SEC. We'll do that when we come back on the Happy Hour. Huge thanks to Empire Fence Netting for their support of the program as always. And step aside on Friday. Talk to you in a second on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, it's time for Final Jeopardy. It's been a tight contest today that all comes down to this final question. No summer picnic or family get-together or trip to the lake is complete without this particular item. Let's go first to Bob.
What is beer?
No, that's not it. Think about the kids. Over to you, Farley.
What is corn on the cob?
Tough to grill that on a boat. Wrong again. Grace, this time for the win.
What is Bure's cheese spread?
We have a winner! Bure's cheese spread, available in most local grocers in Nebraska.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Starter Heyman Jewelers. Have an anniversary coming up? I've got you covered. Celebrate your love with the timeless elegance of jewelry. This anniversary, give the gift of sapphires, emeralds, rubies, or gold. Find the perfect piece that reflects the beauty and depth of your commitment. Whether it's your first anniversary or your 50th, surprise your loved one with a gem as beautiful and rare as she is. Until next time, this is Jordan at Starter Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Are you looking to upgrade your farm equipment? You're in luck. Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, recently dropped its prices on select late model tractors, combines, planters, and sprayers. Trade in your old equipment today and get never-before-seen discounts that can save you over $100,000. With great financing options and our A-plus support, there's no better time to upgrade. Visit your local Acres store or see the huge savings at acres.com. That's AKRS.com to see the best prices in the nation.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Husker fans, get ready for another thrilling season at Hibner Stadium with the reigning Big Ten champion Nebraska soccer team. Season tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to support the Huskers as they go head-to-head with some of the top teams in the country, including Oklahoma State, Penn State, and Duke. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
You're listening to the Happy Hour.
We were in the middle of our tournament when my friend John said he found a body in the bushes over there.
With Nick Sainert.
I ran over there because I'm a healing monk to try and help, but obviously my magic wasn't strong enough because the dude's body was missing a head.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
So my friend decided to try and use a necromancer spell, which didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And apparently we contaminated the crime scene because that spell uses a lot of glitter.
Welcome back in. Happy Friday. Nick and Rico with you on the Happy Hour. Thanks to Empire Fence and Netting for their support. As always, visit them out there at Waverly today. SEC media predictions are out. How about this?
How about it?
If I were to tell you, Rico, Georgia had 165 votes to win the conference. Texas had 27. Alabama with 12. Ole Miss with 4. LSU with 2. And South Carolina with 1. There is one more school that got 2 championship votes.
South Carolina had a vote?
If I were to ask you, which other SEC program had a media member select them as the SEC champion?
Okay, I'm not looking that up. I'm looking up the teams in the SEC so I can remember which teams are in there.
This team, you'll remember which team. You don't remember what teams are in the SEC?
I just gotta remember. Okay, don't judge me. All right, football teams SEC.
I'll tell you this here real quick.
It
hold on
was.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with. Okay, so it's either Tennessee or Oklahoma.
Okay,
and I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
This program has a historic record of 556 and 642.
Oh, not Tennessee.
It is not. It is not either one of those that you mentioned.
Really?
Their record last year was 2-10.
What?
Their record the previous year was 5-7. The year before that, 2-10. 2020 it was 0-9.
There's only one team that's
2019 it was 3-9. Vanderbilt had the same amount of projections to win the SEC championship as LSU with 2.
What is so different about Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt, however, still by majority was predicted to finish last.
Yeah. Yeah. What is so different about Vanderbilt this year? You want to know how bad Vanderbilt is?
How bad?
They are traveling to Georgia State the third week of the season.
You got to remember, Vanderbilt's stadium is under renovation.
I understand, but they have a home game against Virginia Tech, a home game against Alcorn State.
Nice.
And then they go to Georgia State. That's how bad they are. No other SEC school is going to Georgia State.
Georgia State.
No diss to Georgia State, but hosting an SEC team, you're not hosting anybody else in the SEC.
Georgia State football schedule. Let's see who else. Georgia State's going to Georgia Tech for week 1.
Yep.
Chattanooga's going to Georgia State. Georgia Southern's going to Georgia State.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, no. You're right. Yeah. So Vanderbilt. I'm curious. How's Vanderbilt's schedule shape up?
I was just
they open up the season against Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Then it's Alcorn State, like you said. At Georgia State, Vanderbilt at Missouri, Alabama at Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt at Kentucky, Ball State at Vanderbilt.
That's the SEC bye game.
Yes.
Tell me why Vanderbilt could lose that game.
Texas at Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt at Auburn. Okay, now hear me out.
Historically, Vanderbilt has a winning record against Texas.
Hear me out, Rico.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm hearing you out.
Vanderbilt's toughest games are all at home.
They are.
Texas at home, South Carolina at home.
That's a lie.
Tennessee at home.
They go to LSU.
Yes, but Alabama at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 of your 4 toughest games
are at home. I don't know where you're playing, but yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know where home is for Vanderbilt, considering that their stadium is under renovation and half of it is missing, it seems like.
Dudley Field at First Bank Stadium. If I asked you what year did First Bank Stadium open, what would you say?
Is that Vanderbilt's stadium?
Here is the write-up. Yes. First Bank Stadium, an intimate facility located in the heart of campus, has been the Commodores' home since
2017.
No. 1981. The Commodores began playing home games at the current location in 1922.
Goodness gracious.
Dudley Field, as it was named, was the first stadium in the South to be erected exclusively for college football.
What?
Vanderbilt dedicated its new stadium October 14th, 1922 with a game for the ages. The Michigan Wolverines, a national power even in those days, came into Nashville as heavy favorites. The Commodores battled to a 0-0 tie, giving every one of the 20,000 plus fans in attendance a memory to cherish.
Wow.
The game was played in a carnival-like atmosphere, with the game ball being dropped from an airplane. Vanderbilt's most momentous defensive stop of the day came on a Michigan attempted a 4th down play on the Commodores' goal line. A Vanderbilt defender, using one of the goalposts to push off of, stopped the advancing Michigan's runner and squelched any hope the Wolverines had of scoring on that day. Good play continued as the opening season at Dudley featured a Commodore squad that powered its way to an 8-0-1 season, outscoring its opponents 117-16 overall.
Vanderbilt.
And surrendering 0 points at Dudley Field.
What year was this?
1922.
That Vanderbilt, 1922.
How about this?
One of the best teams ever.
Before the dedication game, the field was named for Dr. William Dudley, Dean of the Vanderbilt Medical College. Dr. Dudley was the outstanding academic leader of his day. Okay, don't care. Dudley organized the old Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the predecessor to the SEC. In 1893 and 1906, he helped organize the NCAA, of which he later served as vice president. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
Dudley, the guy the field was named after, was one of the first advocates of changing football's scoring system to make touchdowns count as 6 points instead of 5.
Out of way, Dudley.
And devaluing field goals from 4 points to 3 points. How about that?
You want to know some facts about the 1922 season?
How much time out? Real quickly, last thing on Vanderbilt specifically. How much do you think their construction project in 1981 cost?
1981.
1981, Vanderbilt.
I'm going to say a dumb number.
Constructed. This is like
I don't
sip with
wanna,
the whole
yeah,
Brazil
I don't
thing.
want to guess.
This is like sip with the whole shut
Yeah,
up, sip
I
with
don't
stuff.
want to guess. You
No.
do it.
I need you to guess. In 1981, the new home of the Commodores, Vanderbilt Stadium, was dedicated in September as Vanderbilt posted a comeback victory, beating heavily favored Maryland 23-17.
Okay.
They added 19,000 seats and updated scoreboards, things like that.
Okay.
How much do you think that it was?
19,000 seats. That's
It
got
was
to be
in
at
1981.
19,000 seats in 81. That's got to cost like a nickel a seat. I don't know. I'm going to go.
Come on.
This is going to be dumb. I'm either way too high or way too. I'm going to say 25 million.
That's not bad, Rico. $10.1 million.
Okay.
It was after a $10.1 million construction project in 81.
Okay.
How about this? This is the best part. The process began in December of 1980 when a giant steel ball smashed into the concrete stands around the south end zone of Dudley Field.
What? Where did a giant steel ball come from?
Hold on. This all comes from Vanderbilt's the VUCommodores.com.
What is happening?
Perhaps the most spectacular part of the construction process came when the existing steel bleachers The last pieces of Dudley Field were raised 10 feet through the use of 22 hydraulic jacks.
Yeah.
Each set of stands weighed approximately 400 tons.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Man, that's wild.
All right, fun facts about the 1922 season. Or about the 1922 season and a little bit. So that season was Vanderbilt head coach Dan McGugan's 18th season.
Yep, that's him.
8-0-1. They finished third in the Southern Conference.
Yes, Southern Intercollegiate Conference.
Behind North Carolina and Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Right ahead of VPI.
Oh, nice.
Before the 1922 season, before the season, the 1922 season included the new try for a point rule. Teams were allowed to either kick an extra point after a touchdown or to place the ball anywhere beyond the 5-yard line and try to score, either by a touchdown or by a kick, and receive 1 point if successful.
Wow. All right, you learn something new every day.
Center and Georgia Tech were the favorites to repeat as champions.
That's like
of
Catholic.
the South.
That's like Catholic, where John Butler came from.
The
Center.
The Center Praying Colonels football team. That is their name. The Center Praying Colonels.
There it is. All right. You learn something new every day.
They ran a single wing formation. That 1922 Vanderbilt, guess what their offensive scheme was? You're not going to. I'm going to tell you. Short punt.
What's consisted in the short punt offensive scheme?
The short punt formation is an older formation on both offense and defense. Popular when scoring was harder, and a good punt was itself an offensive weapon. I'm surprised Iowa doesn't run a short punt formation.
Wow, Iowa short punt.
In times when punting on third down was fairly common, teams would line up in the short punt formation and offer the triple threat of a punt, run, or pass.
Okay, so you could punt, or you could run a play.
It's like a shotgun.
It's basically like you're fake punting every single time.
So it's like a shotgun, but you're 5 yards. Your quarterback's 5 yards back. He has a running back a yard in front to his right, another running back 2 yards in front to his left, and then somebody else right behind the offensive line on the right side, about a yard right of the other running back.
Okay.
So there's 4 people in the backfield. Quarterback is the furthest back, about 5 yards back.
Nice. There it is. All right. How about Vanderbilt?
Short punt formation.
Vanderbilt was a dominant program back in
1922. Vanderbilt
football.
One of the best teams ever.
Let's take a break. Wrap up Friday and the week coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today. The next generation of Huskers starts now. Join the official Kids Club of Nebraska Athletics today to score access to select home games, a discount at the team store, and endless Husker spirit. The free JV team gets you started with a game credential. Upgrade to the $35 Lil Huskers membership for a welcome box and VIP Lil Huskers experiences. Fuel your Husker spirit. Join the Kids Club today at huskers.com/kidsclub. Go Big Red.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Get ready, Husker fans. The Big Red Preview is coming soon. Join us Saturday night, August 3rd, for an exclusive look at your Nebraska football team in action. Experience the excitement, the energy, the sights and sounds of a game day as the 2024 football season kicks off. Visit huskers.com/tickets and bring your family, friends, and all your Big Red pride to Memorial Stadium, Saturday night, August 3rd. That's huskers.com/tickets. Brought to you by Husker Athletics and 1890 Nebraska. Winning tradition, future success.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Early break with Sip and Jake.
I'd never turn it off. I'd never turned it off. I would never turn it off. I go flat 9. Ooh. I like it. I just love the sound of it.
I'd turn it off. I'd walk to a different bar. I wouldn't.
Seriously?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Bill, what is the why?
It's a 194.
Why?
It just doesn't. No, it's
That's
just
the biggest
no.
disparity we've ever had.
Yeah,
It's
it's a 194. Nothing. There's not one good thing about that song. I've never questioned you more in my life.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Old School with DP and J.
It's California money, and it's a different kind of money. Hollywood money just is spent differently because it's turned over and created so in full. And oh, by the way, it's the right kind of money when it comes to, because we're in the era now of name, image, and likeness.
Mm-hmm.
And the California schools have that better than everybody else.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What are you doing? Welcome back.
Can't you hear it?
I can hear it. That's why I asked him what he's doing.
Having fun on a Friday, Rico.
It sounds like a water.
Wouldn't you like to have fun
drip.
on a Friday?
No! I don't have fun.
Sounds like a water drip.
I wish I could do like a really good water drip sound effect.
I can.
I'm just like clacking my tongue is what I'm doing.
Ready? Hold on.
Oh,
that's good.
That is
That's
pretty good. That is pretty good. Reed.
Wow.
It takes a little bit. It takes me a little bit to warm up. Welcome back. This is the final segment of the Happy Hour. This is the Chris crossover with the gentleman from On the Block. Nick had to dip out a little early. He got some business to attend to. So I'm joined by the one, the only, Austin Orman.
What up?
And the one, the
not so only.
I believe only.
The not so only.
Eric with a K Strickland.
Yeah. With a CK, my boy.
Just a K.
No.
ERIK.
No.
Gentlemen,
put some respect
on
with just
on my name.
Is that CK or just K?
CK.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
Great.
Having
you,
having a
Rico?
good Friday?
You know, it's not like technically Good Friday, but it is a good
So I said
Friday.
you're having a good Friday.
It is a Good Friday. Yes.
You know when people say they got the ick, I say just add the ER to it. If you got the ick, add the ER to it, and you'll be sick.
Because you'll have some air.
Because you got
I was very confused. I was just like,
you got
icker?
an ER.
What is icker?
no, add the E. You know.
Yeah, but you got to say you got to put
before
the
preface or prefix it.
Preface it with an ER.
My
whatever.
My English.
Whatever. Dude.
I got Slanglish. I told you that's why we're gonna create this shirt called the Strictionary because there's words that
the Strictionary is strange. We'll say that. Me and Austin went through some numbers, and I'm sure he shared them with you already.
Strick just got here. We're gonna go over when we get to the show.
Me and Austin went through some numbers, and they're not great in terms of Nebraska's defense and offense helping each other out. They haven't done that much in the past few years under the past few coaches. So you'll be able to hear a lot more about that on the block coming up next with Austin and Strick. But gentlemen, I kind of want to ask you what Nick asked the listeners earlier in our show. If you had to give a grade to your confidence level in Nebraska's defense this year, how it's going to perform, what would you give?
Why are we giving it a grade and not putting it on a number scale?
Because we do grades around here.
The defense?
Yes.
I think the defense has the potential to perform at an A- level.
Okay.
What would you have graded it last year?
What they did?
Yes.
I would still say a B+. And the only reason is a lot of the stuff wasn't their fault. I think they did what they were supposed to do. I just don't know if they had the full depth to just sustain it because they got left out there. I mean, they would get the stops. Pretty much throughout the game, they would get the stops, and then they would be out there for so long because we would turn the ball over. We would throw an interception. We didn't move the chains. I mean, it was just a lot of that stuff going on. So they eventually just would wear down. I mean, and I'm saying a lot of it was up front, right?
Yeah.
Because they weren't able to get pressure. They weren't able to, even when they were blitzing, they just weren't able to do it. And it just leaves guys that are running around all night.
How many sacks do you think Nebraska had last year, Strick?
Total
as a team.
12.
Nebraska had 32 sacks last year, the most they've had since 2013.
That's good.
That's the last time they broke 30. So
no, I mean, but that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it.
That is good.
That is good.
But all through the season, what was one of the complaints? Gotta get to the quarterback.
Gotta
get to the quarterback.
That was. You're right.
Oh, look at your boy Shaky Jakey.
Nebraska's not pressuring the quarterback enough. 32 sacks. It's not amazing, but that's a really solid number.
Works out to that's like 2.2 and carry the 1, drop the 2. My Eric Strickland math over here. like 2.6, 2.7 a game.
Square root of pi.
Something like that.
Your girl Caitlin Clark is going. She's telling everybody I'm her.
She's going bananas.
She's telling everybody in the league right now, don't put some respect on my name. Like that's how she's giving it to him right now, breaking records and stuff like that. Sis record was broken not too long ago.
Yeah, I don't think that there wasn't any. And this is the hard part with Caitlin Clark and with what's going on with the WNBA right now. I don't think that there wasn't any respect being put on her name from the coaches and the players in the league currently. I think it's much ado about nothing from people who have not no business talking about it, but no business trying to go as in depth between what's going on with Caitlin Clark and the other players in the WNBA. Because nobody aside from them knows how they're talking to each other about each other, if they're having conversations with each other before, after, during games, what's being said. I think there is a healthy level of respect from the women in the WNBA for Caitlin Clark, but there's also this level of we've also been here. Don't discount us because of how good she is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can. I mean, I can.
That's what
understand
Asia
that.
Wilson said. They're in their All-Star, or not their. I think it's their All-Star break. They're doing something right now.
Yeah, All-Star All-Star in Olympics.
Yeah, they're
It's
taking
both.
a break for the Olympics. Yeah, that's what it was. But they're in that, and Asia Wilson, who's the best player in the WNBA right now, said that she has a level of respect for Caitlin Clark, but she wants people to know that she doesn't want people to discount the amount of work she had to do to get to where she is, or the amount of work and all of the dedication that people before Caitlin put in to get the WNBA and women's basketball, women's sports to where it is now. No disrespect, but she wants people to realize there were people before both of them,
no doubt,
that got this to where it is.
I mean,
and
you got to give it to Cheryl Swoops and
Cheryl Miller.
Miller. Well, even Miller, but there was no WNBA, so I was only speaking.
Good call.
But you're
Good
absolutely right. But
if there was, the scoring record would be untouchable.
Yeah, well, yeah, Cheryl Miller. She's one of one. I don't know if there be one like her, but Teaspoon. A lot of those early on, rivalries.
Does Taurasi
that were
throw in the
created.
early on?
Yeah, I mean Taurasi, she's definitely up
but
there.
she's still playing. But yes,
yeah, she's definitely up there. No doubt.
Sue
one of the
Bird,
better. Yeah,
Rebecca Lobo.
Yeah. You got to give credit to them because, they were the pioneers of it. But
it's no disrespect to
not
Caitlin.
at all.
It's just people need to realize there were people before her. There will be people after her. Yes, what she's doing is amazing, and the way that she plays basketball is extremely fun to watch. But you don't have to tear other people down to build her up.
Well, I don't. Yeah. Okay. I agree. Is she like the John Stockton of the WNBA?
What do you mean?
To me, she kind of plays like with that type of, pace, changes, just vision, passing. It seems to me that as of late, they must have watched film and they're catching passes now for some reason.
They got the Eric Strickland call out.
Man,
What you doing?
Man, they finally catching some. We put them on blast.
Dip their hands in the stick 'em.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Trae Young.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We just
range, passing ability. She rebounds a lot better than Trae, probably a slightly better defender. You'd have to explain more about Stockton to me. I can't go back that far and see as many similarities.
Just knew where everybody was going to be and put it on a freaking dime to them.
Sure.
To literally to where they can do what they need to do with the ball without having to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing that was great about him. He when he hit you, he was hitting you where you can do. You didn't have to, because like think about outside of Malone. Malone had good hands. He had like Olden Polynice. He had like Greg Ostertag. Just a lot of fumble-aya type of guys. They didn't have great hands, and they were able to be effective, with that. So I don't know.
All those guys that it hits their hands, and then they just look at their hands because the ball kept going.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's on me. Yeah, I know.
You're telling me. When in that video, did Caitlin Clark's teammates own those turnovers? Because if you're Caitlin, you want to show leadership. Sometimes you say, that's on me. But you can't take the blame for all of those. I mean, you watched the same video I did, Strick. Those should have been walk-in touchdowns.
Yeah, hopefully that they do. And I think that they are taking onus of it, and I'm pretty sure the coach is addressing it because they started to kind of march up a little bit up the in the standings. And so if you want to make a playoff run, you better
got to figure it
catch
out.
A ball.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah,
and they will. They'll be fine. The Fever will be fine, gentlemen. What's coming up on the show?
We are going to go over ESPN's top 25 athletes of the 21st century. Interesting list. Lots to talk to on that. So we'll do that for the first couple segments of the show. Apparently we had like Y2K today going on in airports across the country.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you weren't a part of that, Stricky. You made it back just in time,
I'm glad I ain't going nowhere.
Stricky would have lost his mind.
I would have been salty.
They're handing out like cookies and water to people who are stuck in airports.
That ain't no
I
bueno.
feel like you should
do
more, but sure.
Then credit Rico. He helped me do the research. Will Nebraska have more sacks or touchdown passes this year? Some other Husker football questions. And then SEC football coaches from media days on their plans for NIL, how they view it, how it's going to work, and then roster size, what that can mean for them.
Sounds like a full show for On the Block coming up next. I'll see you guys. Talk to you guys next week. No Nick on Monday, but you hear a lot of him while he's out in Indy with everybody else for Big Ten Media Days. Until then, adios.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Facing criminal charges is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we believe in treating every person with respect, compassion, and understanding. When legal troubles are keeping you up at night, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. To learn more, call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus.